my name is Sakshi, and in this particular session, we would be talking about same-sex marriage legalization in the country. Now, the question is it legalized? Is it not legalized? What is the government's take on it? What are the people who are routing for the same-sex marriages have to say? What are the arguments put forward in front of Supreme Court? But before that, how this movement started and what is the current status? So, without wasting time, let's go and understand the entire concept of same-sex marriages and the current status. The first question that we need to understand is what is same-sex marriages? Now, the general concept of marriage that exists in the society, in the country and everywhere around us is basically a man and a woman getting married to each other. But what is same-sex marriage? As the name suggests, it's all about two women getting married to each other, two men getting married to each other, or two transgender person getting married to each other. Now, is this a normal concern? Or is it a normal, something that you see around you? No, it's not. So, because it's not so common in the country, this is where the question has arisen from. Now, before going ahead and understanding what is the present law saying, let's go back and understand the history of LGBTQ, the laws, the developments, and how far the country has come from. Starting with the history goes back to section 377 of IPC, which is a law brought by Britishers in the colonial era. It's a part of IPC which was drafted, which was enacted in 1860 by the Britishers, and section 377 back then meant that any kind of sexual intercourse which is non-natural, which is unnatural in nature would be penalized. Now the question was, do we have a definition or did we had definition, any kind of definition back then about what is unnatural sexual intercourse? The answer is no. But we knew what natural sexual intercourse meant, which meant that any sexual intercourse between a man and a woman would be considered as natural in nature and that would be allowed and permissible in the society. But any kind of sexual intercourse between two individuals which are of same gender or maybe transgender was not permissible and was considered as a crime, and people were penalized if they were caught indulging or if somebody gets an information that they have indulged in any kind of sexual intercourse. Now, section 377 at the moment has a complete different definition, but from 1860 till present day, a lot of things have changed. So, the entire movement started in 1990s with AIDS Bhedbhav Virodhi Andolan. This was nothing but anti-discrimination movement started in Delhi to protect people who were HIV positive. This entire movement shaped the society to understand how LGBTQ community was discriminated, was faced to violence and abuse, and how the community needs to be accepted and included as a part of the society. The movement started with a particular concern with HIV positive people, especially HIV positive people who were belonging to LGBTQ community. But it started the movement where it led us to 2001 NAS Foundation case, which was filed in Delhi High Court. So NAS Foundation challenged section 377 and demanded decriminalization of this particular provision in Delhi High Court back in 2001. The case went on for good 9 years, and in 2009 the decision came where Delhi High Court, a two-judge bench of Delhi High Court, decriminalized and asked the government to remove section 377 from IPC. Now the question was, it was a law which did not only had its impact in Delhi as a territory, but was a law which had an impact on the entire country. So the question was, just Delhi High Court decriminalizing it, was it enough? The answer was no. While Delhi High Court went ahead and decriminalized it, it was challenged in Supreme Court by Suresh Kumar Kaushal, who was an astrologer, who saw the decision of Delhi High Court as a threat to Hinduism, as a threat to society, and as a threat to the general norms of how people exist in society. When this was challenged in 2013 and people expected that Supreme Court would go ahead and would tune in the same manner as that of Delhi High Court, that did not happen. Supreme Court went on and restored section 377, giving a major setback to the entire LGBTQ community. The best thing that happened after Suresh Kumar Kaushal's case, that it started the debate for people to understand what LGBTQ is, who the people are, what all things they go through, and how as an individual we are responsible for everything they suffer throughout their lives. And moreover, what best we can do to have them included, best we can do to be a part of the same society and coexist together. This debate not only started on national television, but in schools, colleges, universities, everywhere. People were talking about the existence of people having a different sexual orientation apart from being straight, and how every right of such individual mattered, which ultimately gave a rise and enough awareness for people to go ahead and again knock the doors of Supreme Court. The best that happened was the Navjot Singh Johhar's case, where Supreme Court developed and basically came up with a law which actually decriminalized Section 377. So any kind of consensual sexual intercourse, even if it's unnatural, will not be a penal offense in the country, while the forced one still remains an offense. Now, moving ahead, the best question or the important question came in that if Supreme Court is letting people be in relationship with their partners who belong to the same gender, does this also mean that we are going to let them marry, have a family, have child rights, and go ahead and establish the same household as heterosexual couples have? So to answer that, let's move on to the next. Moving ahead, to understand that, government went ahead and introduced Transgender Persons Protection of Rights Act. Now, what was this? So we had something called the Navjot Singh Johar judgment, and we also had some provision, some law by the government. The Transgender Persons Right to Protection Act simply meant that any person who identifies himself or herself as a transgender would have certain rights, certain liabilities, and certain protection provided under this particular act. But one important factor that government missed on was the certification. This particular law required a person to have a certificate which mentions that I so and so identify myself as a transgender. Now the question is, I, Sakshi, who identify myself as a woman, I do not have a certificate to say so. I walk across the corridor, I walk across the road, and everybody recognizes me as a woman. I tell people that, I consider myself as a woman and I should be treated one. But I do not have certificate to prove that. On the contrary, transgenders were expected to have a certificate, a kind of piece of paper to tell us that they identify themselves as transgender. While it was not something that as an individual you would want a person to have, plus it was in sure violation of their fundamental rights. Now, going back to Navjot Singh Johhar's case, while people started recognizing lesbian couples, gay couples, generally people coming out of their closet, talking about their sexuality, people including them, people considering them, people welcoming them as a part of society, yet there were so many people who never had basic rights. In fact, till day they do not have basic rights. And therefore, that brings us to the present day case that we are still fighting in the court of law. The present day case, that is Suprio versus Union of India. Now, this particular petition is not something filed by one person demanding certain rights as a part of fundamental right in the Supreme Court, but 52 different petitioners with 20 plus cases. These are the cases which were filed in Kerala High Court, Delhi High Court, Bombay High Court. All these petitions are clubbed because the general demands of these petitioners remain common. So the first demand all these petitioners have is one thing, that they want the government to legalize same-sex marriage in the country. Secondly, give them all the kinds of rights which a general or a normal or a common heterosexual couple has. The rights to adopt children, the rights to go ahead and get services from a surrogate mother to become parents, or any right which generally a normal couple in the society have. Maybe it's insurance, housing loan, joint bank account, or basically buying property, anything which a normal heterosexual couple is able to do in the society, exactly the same thing which is demanded by all of them. Now, why is it important? It's important because it generally goes and violates their fundamental rights. How? As a part of the Constitution, we have right to life, Right to life also includes right to have a family, right to have a partner, right to choose partner of your own choice. So if a woman is choosing a partner for herself who is another woman of same gender, and if the society is not accepting it and people are forcing her to be away or drifted apart from her partner, not letting her stay, not letting her live together, are these not violation of her fundamental rights? Yes. And therefore, to club all this, a petition is filed where certain hearings are already done. A lot of opposition, obviously, as we all know, would have come. But this particular case is pending in the court. Moving ahead, with same-sex marriages getting legalized in the country, what are the goals or what are the bigger achievements that we are looking forward to? The first is the equality. The equality and inclusivity is the most important aspect for this community. While the community may get education, start working, have finances managed for themselves, the worst and the most important, the problem they face is the discrimination. They are discriminated at every aspect of life, right from getting education to jobs, to being secure, to being safe. Everything comes down to discrimination. And the next is violence. The amount of abuse, the amount of violence the entire community goes through. This needs to be curbed down. This needs to be addressed, and they should feel equal and included as a part of society. The next goal, as we already discussed, is the same rights as heterosexual couples. Anything which a general couple can do, from renting a house to buying a house, property, having loans, finances, mediclaims, everything which a general couple actually enjoys in the society, same kind of rights should be availed to LGBTQ community. And the most important of all, the mental well-being. Yes, when everything goes around you which negatively impacts you, it's very difficult for an individual to have a good, positive mental well-being and ensure that the person is happy. While you see yourself, your own discriminating with you, the own actually not helping you. In fact, there have been cases where the family members themselves have inflicted a lot of violence and abuse on the community. The best or the most important that we really want for the community is the mental well-being and a safe place to coexist in the society. And to end, the ultimate goal of this entire case, filing, arguments, lot of discussions, lot of theories being put forward, ultimate comes down to the true principles of constitutional law. That is democracy and secularism, where we treat each one as equal, we treat each one as a part of us, and we never discriminate with them. In fact, each one has the same right as the other person. And therefore, going ahead, the ultimate goal we want to establish in the society, or we should be established in the society, is the ultimate principles of constitutional law. For all the videos that you watch and for all the information that you get, the best place to actually test your knowledge is the CLAT Challenger series. We already have a test 1 which was conducted, which were attempted by thousands of students. The next test is on 13th of August. What if you find a passage based on same-sex marriage legalization in the country, and this entire video becomes the most important part, and you are able to comprehend the passage, solve questions, and it really helps you. So, without wasting your time, the link is given in the bio. I would want each of you to register. The best thing about this particular CLAT Challenger is, it's not just your normal mock. It's not something that you just attempt a mock, get analysis, get your performance evaluated. No. This is the mock that also comes with a lot of cash prizes. Cash prizes up to worth 8 lakh rupees. So without wasting time, go ahead, register yourself, and also do not forget to share, like, and comment. In fact, I would want you to go ahead and share your opinion about same-sex marriages legalization in the country. Thank you. I'll see you in the next video.